Pirates awakened Conqueror at the beginning. Chapter 161-180. Chapter 161 Tsunade Vice Admiral going to sea. An hour later, Sengoku walked out from the place where the Gorosei, 5 elders were located, looking at the residence of the Gorosei, 5 elders behind him, heaved a deep sigh of relief, and secretly said, I finally don't have to come to this ghost place anymore. Marine Fleet Admiral. This name seems to be hockey, but it is actually quite difficult to do. On the one hand, it is under the suppression of the will of Tenryubito and Gorosei, 5 elders, and on the other hand, it has to stabilize the resentment of the subordinates below. This is also one of the most important reasons why Sengoku has always envied Garp and Zephyr. It can be said that among the three, Garp is the most capable of Marine Fleet Admiral, but this guy sees it better than anyone else, so he immediately abstained. Zephyr even more decisive, he didn't even do Admiral, and retired to the second-tier pension. However, fortunately now, his hard days are finally over. After fighting with pirates for so many years, there are winners and losers, peaks and valleys, he can't move, and the rest is left to the young people to toss. In the residence of Gorosei, 5 elders. Brought by Sengoku on the table in front of the 5 old people. What do you think? The room was silent for more than 10 seconds. The first person to speak was an old man in a black suit, with curly white hair, a fluffy beard, a flat hat, and a scar on the left side of his face. The majesty of the man. This person is none other than one of the Gorosei, 5 elders, Masato Hirano. As a noble Tenryubito, Masato Hirano defeated an unknown number of opponents before taking this seat. His methods were very cruel, looking at the portrait of Tsunade on the table. And the introduction, the eyes flickered and I didn't know what to think. What is certain is that this person is by no means a member of the 5 emperors, Shichibukai, or the Revolutionary Army. Using such a strong person as a spy would be overkill. Then Masato Hirano said, it was Masutani Yasuki who was wearing a dark blue suit, with long straight white hair and a long beard. Yes, since this person has joined Marine, let her sit in the future Marine Admiral. Even if she has a different opinion, she will not be able to make any waves. Wearing a dark red suit, the blonde old man nodded in agreement. Since that's the case, that boy Sengoku doesn't want to be a marshal anymore, then let Shion give it to Momoshige. During this time, his popularity and prestige are comparable to those of Garp back then. Yeah, it was a good thing to make Momoshige a Marine Fleet Admiral now that Garp couldn't be regarded as Marine Fleet Admiral. Gorosei, 5 elders, you are discussing the appointment of Marine Headquarters every word and word. At this moment, they have no idea what kind of disaster their Tenryubito will bring to their Tenryubito in the near future. The next day. Marine Training Camp, Martial Arts Field. Below, before your mission today, you are honored to witness the birth of a Marine Vice Admiral. The corners of Garp's mouth curled up and looked at. In view of Tsunade's super ability, although he has just entered Marine, he has lost the strength of Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral, and Gorosei, 5 elders and Marine Fleet Admiral are specially approved. Next, under the envious gazes of thousands of people in the entire martial arts field, Tsunade, who just joined Marine yesterday, passed through Gorosei, 5 elders and others. Layers of screening, and finally will be at the Vice Admiral level. Soaring into the sky, that's all. Thousands of Marine elites and Marine students who are about to graduate, all exploded one by one. My God, I'm not dreaming. Marine Vice Admiral, my God, it is said that this Tsunade only joined Marine yesterday and is not even a seaman recruiter, but today he passed an unknown number of levels and became our Marine's Vice Admiral. Hey, who said it wasn't, but people have real skills. Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral, was beaten by her punches, and don't forget that she was on par with Garp heroes yesterday. That being said, this guy named Tsunade is really a ruthless character, and yesterday's punch with Hero Garp was very similar to our Marine Rokushiki's Rokushiki, 6 styles. Rokushiki, 6 styles, this can't be right, is this person awakening our Marine's Rokushiki, 6 styles? I'll be darling, if that's the case, then we LL have another Momoshiki Admiral in Marine. Thousands of Marine elites and students in the martial arts field have heated discussions, and the frying pan has been heated up again and again. It is really the information that Tsunade has just become Vice Admiral, and the impact on them is too great. Big that they can't digest it for a while. Cough. Garp coughed twice, attracting everyone's attention, and then said, "It was originally scheduled for Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral, to take you to the sea for the first time. Just like Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral was unwell, it will be replaced by the new one." Tsunade Vice Admiral replaces Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral, to cooperate with this expedition. After a series of orders, thousands of Marine elites and academies in the field went dark. Unwell, the body is unwell. It is obviously their Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral, was seriously injured by Tsunade Vice Admiral. He wanted to carry out the mission. I'm afraid it would be difficult for him to get up at the moment. But when he thought that the Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral who had escorted them had been brutally killed by Tsunade Vice Admiral, the tension in his heart weakened a lot. "Okay, let's go." After Garp finished speaking, he stopped talking nonsense and waved his hand, and went to sea with thousands of Marine elites and students. Although Garp was there, if everyone encountered force majeure, Garp would not shoot, so there hope we can only rely on this. Tsunade Vice Admiral will take care of him. After half an hour, the 5 warships left the training camp and sailed towards the distance of the sea, and soon the training camp was nowhere to be seen, surrounded by boundless seas. While sailing the boat, the instructor explained the points to be paid attention to in the sea area, but in such an atmosphere, time passed quietly. Until it came to a certain sea area, a sea king with a size of more than 500 jong rushed towards the 5 battleships and rushed towards the 5,000 jong, 4,000 jong, 3,000 jong and 2,000 jong speed, and in the blink of an eye, it was close to the range of 1,000 jong. Not good. Lord Garp, there are sea kings approaching. The length is 5 or 500 feet. Looking at Marine, I saw the sea kings galloping from 1,000 feet away. Their faces turned pale, and they screamed in shock. As soon as these words came out, all the 5 battleships trembled, their scalps burst, and their hearts were raised in their throats. Chapter 162_Target, Supernova Big Pirate Kid. Training base, hundreds of kilometers away. 5 battleships stood above the sea, and thousands of Marine elites and graduates on the battleships stared at the distant sea with their pupils shrinking. More than 500 feet, how big is that? Just thinking about it makes people's hearts skip a beat. Garp, who was basking in the sun on the 800 to 600 jong deck, still had no intention of making a move. Finally, with the sound of breaking water, the sea kings that looked like a hill of more than 500 feet opened their bloody mouths. Towards a battleship, he opened his mouth and bit it. If he was bitten, the entire battleship would probably be reimbursed. On that battleship, a Marine with eyes full of fear trembled. "It's over, are we finished?" "No, how can it be like this? How can we die here?" On the battleship that was attacked by the Sea Kings, nearly 1,000 Marines were full of despair, and they seemed to have seen the picture of themselves becoming the Chinese food of the Sea Kings. Sparkle, the moment of thunder. Seeing that the 500-meter-long Sea King was about to bite off the battleship, at this moment, with a sound of breaking through the air, a screeching sound swept past, and above the 5 battleships, thousands of people saw that. A figure wearing a cloak of justice appeared at the jaws of the first 500 feet of the Sea King. This person is none other than Tsunade, who has just soared into the sky to become Marine Vice Admiral, an existence that makes them envious and hateful. Tsunade, which appeared at the neck of the jaws of the Sea Kings, did not have fancy movements. When he raised his hand, it was a punch, like an ant-like punch that could be ignored, and immediately hit the jaws of the Sea Kings. Next moment, the 500-meter-long Sea King was like a cannonball shot out at a high speed, slicing a brilliant arc in the air, disappearing from the field of vision in the blink of an eye, and flying to an unknown location. Punch is so terrifying. The battleship Marine, which was originally attacked by the Sea King, saw this scene, full of surprise in the rest of her life. Saved. They were saved. This was the first thought that popped into everyone's mind, and Marine from the surrounding battleship was also shocked by the scene in front of him. What did they see? Tsunade Vice Admiral actually hit the Sea King with one punch and saw the trail. What a terrifying force to do. Sitting on the deck and basking in the sun on a chair, Kaz squinted his eyes slightly, wisps of fine light blooming, just under observation haki. Garp clearly understood that it was only the effect of Tsunade's pure power. Not used any other such as Rokushiki color haki, completely the most primitive power for it. More because of this, Garp's eyes had a profound action, and obviously, he was also a little surprised by Tsunade's blow. This person's strength is unfathomable. It seems that she also kept her hands in the training camp before. However, the stronger this Tsunade Vice Admiral is, the better it will be for their Marine. Sooner or later, they will hand over the Marine's people to the young people. Before that, they can help Marine find more nice seedling. Garp is also very pleased. On the 5 battleships, many Marines and students, all of them looked at Tsunade again, their eyes changed. From the original envy and jealousy, it has become today's worship and enthusiasm. Yes, it is worship and passion. Respect for strength is the only way in this world. As long as you are strong enough, you can win the respect and admiration of others, which is vividly reflected here. It is also at this moment that everyone truly accepts the identity change of Tsunade Vice Admiral from the bottom of their hearts. After 10 minutes, the 5 battleships approached a small island, and there was a huge pirate ship on the shore of the small island. When looking at Marine, seeing the flag of the pirate ship rising in the wind, his pupils shrank suddenly. Kid, that's Eustace Kid, one of the Supernova 11's kid pirates. Garp, who was lying in the sun, heard the screams of his subordinates, and the corners of his mouth finally twitched, and his eyes swept to Tsunade, who was also lying on the reclining chair beside him. If you want to become an admiral, this kid is a good goal. Although Garp doesn't know why Tsunade came to Marine, one thing he can be sure of now is that Tsunade is probably going to Marine Admiral. After all, this is the case at this stage. Let's go, let Tsunade Vice Admiral take you today and destroy this kid who is doing evil on the sea. Yes, Lord Garp. Although Garp lost the rank of Vice Admiral, all Marines respect Garp as always. After all, he is the hero of the whole Marine. The many students who have just graduated are nervous and excited. I can finally meet the real pirates. Yeah, the big pirate, and Eustace Kid, one of the Supernova Kid pirates. Such an existence. I didn't expect that we would encounter such a ruthless character the first time we went out to sea. With Tsunade Vice Admiral here, we'll be fine. Is it finally time for a real contest? I decided to give it my all and try my best to be like Tsunade Vice Admiral, protect Marine and protect the people. Me too. Quote. Following the heated discussions among many students, everyone's eyes couldn't help looking at Tsunade Vice Admiral lying on the reclining chair, and they couldn't help clenching their fists, all eagerly looking forward to the next battle. Chapter 163 Marine is here to save us. On the island. At this moment, thousands of island residents were all driven to the square by Kid's men like cattle. Captain, I've looked for it, but no. One of Kid's subordinates, with a gloomy face, returned to report. Oh, is it? Hearing the report from his subordinates, Kid's eyes flashed with a ruthless gleam. In his opinion, the pariahs on these islands are no different from beasts, and he will not have the slightest psychological burden to slaughter them all. Besides, this is not his first. Did it this time? A devilish smile turned to the residents of the island, watching the residents tremble. I heard that you have a coveted devil fruit here. Hand it over now, I will keep you all right. What is the devil fruit? We don't have it on our island. Yeah, we've never heard of devil fruits. Just let us go, we will give you all our wealth. Hearing the words of the residents of the island, I remember that the complexion became gloomy. Fortune, that book is mine. As for the devil fruit, I must get it today. Come here, catch me out of a person from the island. Since these people are stubborn, give them a reminder. Under Kid's order, the two men fiercely pulled a sturdy-looking man on the island out of the crowd. No, let go of my husband, no. You've suffered thousands of knives, spare my son, we really don't have the devil fruit you want. Man was forcibly pulled away, and the man's family turned pale, their eyes full of despair and panic, but in Kid's eyes, they were extremely happy. Killing is one of his few interests. Whenever he sees these helpless ants, the desperate wailing, and the shrill screams, he can get a different kind of pleasure and sense of accomplishment from them. If you do this, Marine will not let you go. The man who was pulled out was considered tough, as if he already knew his end. Hee, Marine. When Kid heard the man's words, a trace of disdain flashed across his mouth. Marine is a piece of shit. In the eyes of my kid pirates, Marine can only be killed by me when she comes, and by the way, maybe I can raise my bounty amount. Mentioned above. I have thousands of younger brothers, what will those seas do to me? Since you are not wise, don't blame me for being ruthless. Hands on. Okay, boss. Another subordinate heard Kid's order. He immediately stepped forward with a ruthless expression on his face. It's been a long time since I killed someone, my sword is already hungry and thirsty. Be patient, he. The subordinate's eyes were full of scarlet colors, and when he raised his knife, he was about to slash at the man's neck. I heard that some people looked down on Marine and threatened to destroy the Marine against you. Your actions today are already doomed to your death. Following a dull voice, a figure appeared on the square of the island, and behind her were thousands of Marines and students who were about to graduate. Marine is here to save us. Marine is finally here, we don't have to die. The people on the island saw all the Marine uniforms, especially the Marine officers wearing justice cloaks, which gave them the dawn of survival when they were on the verge of death. Oh, what a beautiful Marine girl. Kid heard the voice and looked around, just seeing Tsunade with a beautiful face, such a beautiful girl, not my kid's woman, it's really a condescending talent. How dare you talk to Tsunade-sama? Hearing Kid's words, the instructor on the opposite side looked gloomy, and these pirates were too abhorrent. You nasty pirates, don't even want to leave today. A graduate student who was going to sea for the first time, blushed and said resentfully, because his parents died at the hands of the same pirates as them. Scoff. Are you joking? Our captain has a high bounty. The existence of 301.5 million Baileys really makes me laugh. Hearing the student's words, thousands of Kid's subordinates shouted in unison, as if they had heard a very funny joke. Is it funny? Feeling a playful arc on the corner of his mouth, he took a few steps forward. He's right, none of you can leave here today. Tsunade's soaring momentum made Kid's heart congeal. It was definitely not easy for this woman to be the leader of these people, but Kid, who was very confident in his own strength, quickly dismissed this idea. But just to be on the safe side, Kid looked at Tsunade. Brothers, give it to me, kill this wave of Marine, and keep that girl. Yes, Captain Kid. Ha, a Marine officer to be the captain's wife, good decision. Hey, it seems that our Kid pirates are going to be famous in the New World. The 6th Emperor, it must be our captain, kill those Marines. Quote. Kid's subordinates immediately screamed and rushed towards Tsunade, who were hungry tigers. Chapter 164 Destroy thousands of pirates, kill Kid in seconds. Numerous recruit camps and Marines behind Tsunade, their faces paled, and their heartbeats suddenly accelerated. Thousands of Kid's murderous subordinates, their pirates are notoriously cruel, and disasters come wherever they go. Kill. The crazy and brutal scarlet color filled the eyes of more than 1,000 people under Kid's subordinates, and the screams and roars were intertwined, rising above the island square, making people shudder. Thousands of ferocious pirates rushed towards Tsunade hungry tiger, their eyes full of scarlet and excitement. Open black lens bracket Tianshu foot close black lens bracket. Snorted lowly, did not use any rokushiki, let alone two-color hockey, with pure strength, 1 foot on the ground, and Tsunade as the center point for a moment. Continued to click, and a spider web-like crack appeared. In an instant, the ground in front of Tsunade was a landslide and a mountain crack, and the strange force attacked the thousands of pirates who were swarming through the ground. Ah! No, how is that possible? The attack was like a landslide, and the subordinates of the thousands of kid pirates only felt that their internal organs were twisted together, and their stomachs turned, as if they were hit by a strange force from a volcano, and half of the kid's subordinates were seriously injured on the spot. Punch! Half of the pirates were wiped out. Such combat power shocked everyone. Facing Kid, who was extremely confident in his own strength, the whole person was stunned. This is such a strong power. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles 6 king's spear, close black lens bracket. Wait for Kid to react further. Tsunade didn't make any fancy moves. He immediately punched Rokushiki, 6 styles again, adding strange power, and instantly killed the remaining half of Kid's subordinates. 2 punches behind, on the entire square, Kid's pirate group was the only one standing, and the rest of the more than 1,000 subordinates were all lying on the ground, wailing everywhere. A marine from the recruit battalion looked at the field with a trembling voice. So strong, Tsunade Vice Admiral is so strong. Terror, too terrifying, Tsunade-sama is so terrifying, too terrifying. 2 punches, just 2 punches overturned all the subordinates of the big pirate kid. This strength. Has another goddess of war rising alongside Momoshiki Admiral, the spring of our marine is coming. It's hard to imagine that one person's strength can be like this, and the iron fist of a Garp hero is nothing more than that. I didn't expect the battle to end so quickly, then the kid is over. Quote. Impossible, how is it possible? Kill all my subordinates, you are courting death. More than 1,000 subordinates were killed. The tragic scene impacted Kid's mind, and endless anger rubbed against him. Open black lens bracket robot arm close black lens bracket. In a fit of anger, Kid's devil fruit abilities were fully activated for the first time, and in an instant, the weapons and metals on the surrounding buildings and ground rushed towards Kid's 2 arms as if they were alive. Blink of an eye, 2 giant mechanical arms with a length of more than 100 feet appeared terrifyingly in front of everyone's eyes, and the visual impact was indistinguishable for a moment. It doesn't stop there. 2 huge steel arms like a hill appeared in the air, and then with Kid's 2 wrists as the center, the 2 arms like a hill, even if they were covered by the black armament hockey, the attack power soared by an unknown number of grades. Stinky bitch, go to hell. Kid with a hideous face, Tsunade staring at the opposite side in a twisted manner, that woman who is abominable to the extreme, die, that person must die. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles by how close black lens bracket. Tsunade untied the yin seal. Immediately, surging energy emerged all over his body. He clenched his right fist and covered armament hockey to the extreme. Rokushiki shaved the soles of his feet and disappeared from the spot in an instant. It smashed into the 2 giant steel arms that came from the top. Loud roar. Without any hesitation, Tsunade smashed Kid's huge steel arm with 1 punch, and under the authority, all the steel that had lost its ability to control all rustled from the sky, like a rain of steel. Bang! A dull sound. Tsunade, who passed through the giant steel arm, slammed into the abdomen with a punch, and in the next instant, Kid turned into a cannonball and flew out backwards, and the ground where it passed was plowed out. The ditch marks on the road spread far and wide. Puff puff along the way, I don't know how many blood flowers poured into the square in the air, splashing on the ground as very eye-catching, and at the end of Kid, wow, a large pool of blood spurted out, and there was even more mixed in it. With pieces of lungs, his complexion is as pale as black and white impermanence. Seriously injured. The most serious injury in history. At this moment, Kid didn't even have the strength to move his fingers, and Tongren stared at Tsunade who was thousands of feet away. His eyes were full of intense fear. How could it be possible? That guy's strength. Admiral level Marine Vice Admiral level existence. Will never let yourself lose so badly. so thoroughly, the only explanation is that this person is strong enough to be an admiral. Damn, when did Marine have such a number one character? The bastard gushed up against the blood, and the kid, who was seriously injured, had a violent mood swing, and his eyes rolled on the spot, and he passed out. Chapter 165 The Surprise of the Marine Headquarters. In the island field. Kid vomited blood and fainted, and the battle was over. Thousands of people on the island saw this scene. They immediately burst into tears and fell to the ground with a plop. With the first person, 3 people 3, 5 people 5, and 10 people 10 quietly, all the residents of the thousands of islands in the entire square knelt down towards Tsunade. Thank you Marine for saving your life. The high-pitched roars in unison, listening to the many recruits and Marines behind Tsunade, was like the panic sound of the twilight drum and the morning bell. And this is not the most shocking thing to them. The most shocking thing is that this Tsunade Vice Admiral actually defeated the pirate kid with a bounty of 4.8 million with one punch. Such a record means that they are extremely high in the Vice Admiral hierarchy. Other side of Billy, Garp, who had been waiting for news from the sea, also learned the news. Master Garp, there is news from Tsunade Vice Admiral that all the kid pirates have been destroyed, and the big pirate kid has been captured alive by Tsunade Vice Admiral. Oh, isn't it? That's exactly what happened. When Garp heard his subordinate's report, he showed a smile, but when he saw the subordinate's strange expression, he asked, "What's the matter? What else is there?" Mr. Garp, Tsunade Vice Admiral did kill Kid and his party, but the only person who took action was Tsunade Vice Admiral, and Tsunade Vice Admiral only made 3 moves. Oh, Tsunade Vice Admiral only made 3 moves. What are you talking about, 3 moves? Halfway through the words, Garp's eyes narrowed, obviously aware of the message of the sentence just now. 3 moves, defeated the bounty as high as 408 million Supernova Kid. These records are very high in their Marine Vice Admiral level. It seems that I underestimated this girl named Tsunade. 2 days later, Marine Headquarters Marineford. With the return of Garp and Tsunade, the news of Kid's arrest spread like a plague. Kid, as one of the most powerful supernovas, came to be a strong contender for the Emperor of the New World, and now he is captured alive by their Marine, which is undoubtedly a very exciting good news. Have you heard that Kid was arrested by our Marine's Vice Admiral? Well, let's just say that Vice Admiral also has Rokushiki, 6 styles. That's not the point, but I heard that Tsunade Vice Admiral wiped out more than 1,000 members of Kid's pirate group, including Kid, in just 3 moves. Quote. Thousands of people, 3 moves, and it's still Kid. With this strength, I'm afraid it's already approaching Admiral. That's not it, Chaton Tokikake, Vice Admiral. You know, the Marine Admiral candidate existed before, but he was beaten and repaired by Tsunade Vice Admiral in the recruit camp before, huh? Really or not? If that's the case, our Tsunade Vice Admiral's strength is definitely the top existence in the Vice Admiral level. Women don't let men. First Momoshiki Admiral, and now Tsunade Vice Admiral, our Marine's prosperous age is coming. Quote. 1 pass, 10 pass, 100, and soon, the entire Marine in Marineford knew that there was another heroine in their Vice Admiral. Did you see that? The god of war with a prosperous face is Tsunade Vice Admiral, so beautiful. Strange, I haven't heard that Tsunade Vice Admiral likes pets before. The golden fox with 9 tails is really rare. Many Marine discussions was none other than Kuo, who came to Marine with Tsunade, but Kuo didn't enter the recruit camp at that time, but left for another place. Ah. Yes it is. A sudden scream caught everyone's attention, and then the scream continued, that golden 9-tailed demon fox, when it was on the island, I saw with my own eyes that it took down the Whitebeard pirates. 3rd Division Captain Diamond Jozu vomited blood. What? As soon as the Marine elite at the Marine Colonel level said these words, all eyes were focused on Tsunade's shoulders and 9 tails. What did they hear? this little guy actually vomited blood from the captain of the 3rd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, Jozu. Oh my god, that's at least Vice Admiral level combat power. And such a force would be a pet of Tsunade Vice Admiral Sengoku the Buddha, office. Sengoku, who started the countdown to the position of Fleet Admiral, was in a particularly happy mood, and he was looking forward to the scene after scene of a leisurely life relegated to the second line. Billy Sengoku imagined. A phone bug's ringing interrupted his train of thought, and took the call smoothly, but soon, he couldn't keep his original calm. What? Tsunade Vice Admiral killed the kid pirates with 3 moves, and his pet wounded the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates 3rd Division with 1 move. A jerk, Sengoku stood up from his seat, he heard something. Chapter 166_Tricky Quest, Whitebeard 2. Next day, Tsunade's record spread throughout Marineford at the same time. Came from Marineford, and Sengoku, who learned the bad news, convened an emergency meeting immediately. At this meeting, the 3 Admiral and many top Vice Admiral were all present, and many Vice Admiral Naka Tsunade was not unexpectedly among them. This was also the first time she participated in the Marine's highest meeting. Chaton Tokikake, whose profile was still slightly swollen, subconsciously staying away from Tsunade, the punch that day has not healed until now. Eyes swept over, and finally his eyes fell on Momoshiki, muttering to himself, "Is she the Momoshiki that Bai Xiao said? She is really good looking." Sighed, Momoshiki was also stunned for a moment by Vivi. Like Tsunade, she is very confident in her appearance, but she didn't expect that the person who killed Kid in an instant and injured Jozu of the Whitebeard Pirates with a pet would be such a beautiful embryo. Crack. Sound. A newspaper appeared in front of everyone, and Sengoku's expression was full of anger. Edward Wable, a pirate who claimed to be Whitebeard too, had a bounty of 408 million before. Just a day ago, this person's 16 islands under the jurisdiction of the 5 Emperor Charlotte Linlin were destroyed. Nearly 10,000 people died and hundreds of thousands were displaced. Any one of you will go for a trip, arrest this person, and if you can't, kill them on the spot. Sengoku's face was surprisingly solemn and angry. This Wable, who called himself Whitebeard too, was too presumptuous, and completely ignored the Marine. Nearly 10,000 people were killed, and more than 100,000 people were displaced. What a bad influence. Edward Wable and Whitebeard too heard the words in everyone's ears, and their eyelids jumped, and it's not a good job. Although Whitebeard did not admit to having such a son, he also did not refute it. In a sense, this was a tacit consent. Of course, there are also elements of disdain in it. Even so, many Vice Admiral, look at me, look at you, all dare not take this task. Not to mention whether they can agree to this vicious Wable. Even if they capture Wable or kill him, if it is Whitebeard's son, then they can't imagine the consequences. Who can provoke this Whitebeard to? Only the 3 most powerful admirals in their marine could take action. I'll take this mission. Not waiting for many Vice Admiral to ponder further. It was a determined crisp sound that rang in the conference room. Next moment, including Momoshiki, looked over in unison, and no surprise, this voice was made by Tsunade. Hearing this, many Vice Admirals in the conference room looked at Tsunade with their eyes changed. They didn't have such courage. But when they thought of her fighting strength and the 9-tailed demon fox on her shoulder at the moment, they all looked at Tsunade. Blink doesn't know what to write. Kuzan and Kizaru, who were not so confident, cast a surprised look when they heard Tsunade's words. The identity of Whitebeard too was also very troublesome. After all, this matter has something to do with the strongest man in the world, Whitebeard. If this matter is true, and they kill Whitebeard's son, then even if they are admiral, they will be affected by Whitebeard's anger. Oh. Sengoku was also very surprised to hear that such a difficult task was taken over. He originally thought that Momoshiki was the most likely task, and he was ready to let Tsuru Vice Admiral mediate. It's just that he never expected Tsunade to take on this task. After all, the other party is related to Whitebeard, and this Whitebeard Two-Wable is now a super pirate with a bounty of over 600 million. If that's the case, then Tsunade Vice Admiral will trouble you. Tsunade Vice Admiral, Sengoku then said, if this mission Tsunade Vice Admiral can be completed, after I abdicate, the next Marine Admiral is guaranteed to have your Tsunade's name. Sengoku made a promise, and immediately everyone in the conference room focused on Tsunade, the next Marine Admiral. This sweetness is really not small. Sengoku has revealed to them more than once that he will abdicate soon, and they are the most capable of becoming the next Marine Fleet Admiral in the meeting, none other than Momoshiki Admiral, who is now the most prestigious and popular. If Momoshiki Admiral becomes Marine Fleet Admiral, then Marine Admiral's seat will undoubtedly be vacated, so a Marine Admiral candidate is needed. Now that it has been put on the agenda in advance, I am afraid that the time for Sengoku to abdicate is really not far away. After everyone left, Tsuru Vice Admiral looked at Tsunade and the others leaving. Sengoku, you're sure? Oh, of course. It's not me, if I step back to the second line, you will be the only one who is active in the first line. You are definitely not the same as me. Sengoku thought about the current situation and said it in a good mood. Tsuru Vice Admiral heard Sengoku's words and rolled his eyes at him. It's easy to say, take a back seat. I'm not like you. You've found someone who can take your place. My position as Marine's General Staff is not so good. Looking for a successor. Maybe there will be such a day in the future, but definitely not now. Tsuru Vice Admiral saw that Sengoku's retreat was about to succeed. How could he be calm? He breathed a deep sigh of relief, and looked in the direction Momoshiki and Tsunade were leaving. If the two could be intimate, she would retreat. It's not impossible either. It's just that it will go in the direction you want. Chapter 167 _ Two girls meet for the first time. Hey, that Admiral named Momoshiki seems to be following you. Tsunade's nine-tailed, mung-bean-sized fox's eyes rolled, looked somewhere behind him, and said with a low voice. Although Momoshiki is well hidden, he is still penetrated by the nine-tailed demon fox and Tsunade. Needless to say, the nine-tailed body contains the energy that destroys the sky and the earth. Any movement inside could not escape her eyes and ears. Momoshiki Admiral, is this the purpose of young master by letting him come? Mouth curved with a radiance, and a gleam of brilliance flashed in her eyes. During this time, she had heard too much about Momoshiki's heroic deeds, and Momoshiki even blocked Kaido, who was tied with Baishao as the fifth emperor. Since that's the case, I'd like to see what Momoshiki Admiral is capable of, who is highly praised by young Master Bai. Made up his mind, left Marineford immediately, and sailed toward an island off the beaten track on a battleship. Above the walls of Marineford. Who left Marineford on the battleship? Momoshiki's beautiful eyes flashed and she lowered her eyebrows in thought. She did not forget the reason why she had the prestige and popularity all the way, that was to bring down the self-righteous Tenryubito of Mariajoy. Before that, she must control Marine as much as possible, as a capital to fight against the nobles of Mariajoy. Becoming an admiral was her first step, and now she is about to become a Marine Fleet Admiral as the second step. Since then, she has been developing her own power, but her sudden appearance in Tsunade made her aware of a strong threat. No, it's a threat. Tsunade's current rise can be said to be faster than hers, fast. Too fast. It took less than half a month to become a Marine, and it was from an unknown name to today's Marine Vice Admiral, if nothing else. This person is likely to be the next Marine Admiral, and if this person stands on the opposite side of himself at that time, it will definitely be a big problem for the confidant. In this case, Dangduan will continue to suffer from the chaos. Momoshiki, who was so determined, quietly left Marineford without disturbing anyone, and followed in the direction where Tsunade left. The purpose of her move is to see that Tsunade is so sacred. All the way fast, about an hour later. Came to the shore of the island and looked behind him. Is said that Isho stepped on the island, and soon disappeared from Momoshiki's sight. Find a hidden place, good, groping and follow Tsunade into the island, Full of curiosity, this Tsunade left Marineford to come to this island with a clear purpose. There is definitely a problem. Thinking of this, Momoshiki is heading towards the island. She is extremely confident in her own strength. As long as she doesn't encounter the existence of the 4 emperors, she can definitely deal with the problem. After a little, Momoshiki came to the flat land of an island, and just as he was thinking about the next direction, a voice sounded from behind him without warning. Finally, Momoshiki Admiral. Hearing this, Momoshiki turned around, and the target she was following, Tsunade, appeared on the opposite side. You know I'm following you. Momoshiki was secretly on guard, could detect her stalking, and quietly appeared behind her. This person was definitely stronger than what was exposed. Who are you and why are you in Marine? Momoshiki didn't talk nonsense with Tsunade, but went straight to the topic and questioned Tsunade, but Tsunade smiled Isho, with a fighting spirit all over her body. Some people say that you are the only person in this world other than him who may be better than me. I don't believe it. So I want to try. Momentum of the whole body instantly rose to the top, and with Tsunade as the center, an invisible strong wind blew toward the 4 poles, and the surrounding vegetation was all dumped. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles 100 heroes art close black lens bracket. Rokushiki, 6 styles and the blessing of Baihao, S speed and power have reached an unattainable level, turning into a black on, appearing in front of Momoshiki in an instant, without leaving the slightest hand, it slammed into the fully developed armament Haki 1. He hit Momoshiki hard and smashed it hard. Air trembled and became twisted and deformed. The conical arc of air rushed towards Momoshiki at the speed of light, and with a violent blow that was approaching the extreme, Momoshiki's face changed. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles Phoenix sword close black lens bracket. Also didn't hold back at all. The sword intent of the top swordsman instantly increased to the extreme, and the famous sword Conqueror from his waist swung out, and immediately slashed towards the extremely dangerous punch with the sound of a phoenix wing. Wherever they passed, the air was scorching hot, and punches and swords slammed into each other. At the moment of the collision, the entire island felt as if an earthquake of magnitude 8 had occurred, and the roar was as terrifying as it would tear the island apart. The beasts in the island jungle were all scattered and fled, and the sea kings around the surrounding fish were rushing to flee. A hurricane centered on Tsunade and Momoshiki swept across the sea in an instant. The ground beneath the 2 of them was even more overwhelmed with a clicking sound, and the eye-catching cracks spread like a spider web. The 100-jong giant, and then went away again, quietly. A battle of destroying the sky and destroying the earth was played on this small island. Chapter 168 Tsunade vs Momoshiki. On the island, the battle escalated. The terrifying aura of intensified, one after another scurried. There were grooves one after another on the flat ground between the 2 of them. The earth and rocks crumbled, and the air was flying. Open black lens bracket Rokushiki, 6 styles Fengxiang Judian close black lens bracket. Immediately, under the influence of Momoshiki's multiplying fruit, it slashed out again, and a loud phoenix roar rang out, and suddenly a phoenix with a size of more than 100 meters appeared in front of Momoshiki, blazing hot. The high temperature caused the whole space to be roasted and distorted. Cut. With Momoshiki's blow, the phoenix, which had originally risen with golden flames, was immediately enveloped by the black armament Haki again. And Fengxiang Judian's moves are terrifying. I don't know how many grades. 8 inner gates. Gate of opening is open. Gate of healing on. Gate of life is on. Loud bang, Tsunade's whole body's momentum soared strangely. The first 3 gates of 8 inner gates opened, and the strength soared sharply. A low voice, Tsunade's combat power soared again. Feeling the change in Tsunade, Momoshiki's face on the opposite side became completely solemn. That guy. Such a terrifying coercion. What exactly is this method? Tsunade immediately slammed it with a punch, and suddenly collided with Momoshiki's Fengxiang Judian. At that moment, it was like 2 comets collided. An air wave escaped, and after a loud bang, dust splashed around, with the 2 as the center point. another huge deep pit was formed in a radius of 100 feet. Absolutely destroying the sky and destroying the earth, broken walls and ruins, the entire island's land was ravaged and devastated. The nine-tailed demon fox, who was more than 100 meters away from the two, looked at the weather-covering situation in the field, his eyes twinkled, and he muttered to himself, "Mother, these two girls are too cruel, are they all their own? Women are terrifying creatures. It's hard to imagine how Bai Xiao conquered two terrifying women. It's crazy." The violent breath is the energy resistance of the nine-tail. The sound of the slamming, the sound of the sound, and there is a deep pit of the whole heavens and the earth, with to the spread of human warfare, and the level of damage also soared. 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet, and a quarter of an hour later, the battle between the two spread to a radius of 500 feet. Even if the nine-tailed demon fox was stunned, Momoshiki didn't know that they were his own. The hands are very clear, and this is also the purpose of their coming to Marine. And the posture in front of me seems like Tsunade is better than Momoshiki. Be excited, time is just like this. Under the offensive of the two men, they flowed by little by little. Every second, the two fought several times. Right boom, continued to boom. After half an hour, the atmosphere of destruction in the field finally stopped, and at this moment, the two stunning beauties in the field were also very embarrassed and sweaty. Dripping, the mouth heaving up and down, panting heavily. The scope of the battle between the two also soared from 500 feet before to more than 1,000 feet today. That's right, it is more than 1,000 feet. There is no good place in the deep pit around the two of them that is more than 1,000 feet in diameter. It continued for a while, and I was afraid that the entire island would be wiped out by the two of them. Even now, I don't know how many souls have died tragically under the aftermath of the two disasters. You are very strong. A deep breath, he calmed down the disturbed breath. Momoshiki's beautiful eyes twinkled. This person named Tsunade is strong, too strong. Originally, she thought that Tsunade's strength should be at the admiral level at most, but who would have thought that this person's strength was not below her in the slightest? It's just that how could it be that he has the recovery potion that Bai Zi gave him, and also has a multiplication fruit that fits him very well. With such blessings, he can't suppress the person in front of him. Such power, not to mention Edward Wable, the Whitebeard too. Even if Whitebeard is here, I am afraid that there is no 100% certainty that he will kill Tsunade. Before Marineford, he was able to fight against the four emperors Kaido of the beasts with his current strength. Obviously, Tsunade in front of him also has the strength not weaker than the four emperors. You're not bad either, no wonder that. People said that you are the only person in this world other than him who can surpass me. You are amazing. The series of battles, Tsunade was completely overwhelmed by Momoshiki's strength. In their world, Momoshiki's strength is definitely beyond the shadow-level existence at this moment. It's finally over. Remember to tell me in advance next time you fight with someone. The pet-like nine-tailed demon fox, seeing the end of the battle in the field, just jumped out, talking loudly, but surprised Momoshiki beside him, and lifted his heart up again with a sigh of relief, eating the fox of the devil fruit. She knew very well that this nine-tailed fox wounded Jozu of the Whitebeard pirates with one blow. Momoshiki's face was solemn, and he was definitely not the opponent of this nine-tailed demon fox in its heyday. Chapter 169_White Man. On the island, Momoshiki's eyes are full of vigilance. It was Tsunade and this pet nine-tailed demon fox. It was so weird that she had to do this. 1 second, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Lasted for more than 10 seconds. Kyuubi glanced at Momoshiki's alertness and vigilance, grinned Isho. Hey, who is Momoshiki Admiral? You don't have to be so vigilant, we will not, let alone hurt you. What do you mean by that? Hearing the words of the nine-tailed demon fox, Momoshiki's guarded eyes flashed with suspicion, not understanding why the nine-tailed demon fox said that. Tsunade, come on, I'm lazy to explain. The nine-tailed demon fox yawned humanely, lying on the side with narrowed eyes, ready to sleep for a while. Lazy appearance of the nine-tailed demon fox, Tsunade was helpless to Isho, and turned to look at Momoshiki, who was still full of fear and a little hostility. Nine-tailed is right, and it will not hurt you, nor dare, if something unexpected happens, it may affect the overall situation of young Master Bai Xiao. Hearing Tsunade mentioning this to Boo for the first time, Momoshiki frowned, thinking about all the people with white characters in his name that he knew, and finally only one figure that matched appeared in his mind. A swipe, he once again looked at Tsunade's eyes full of horror, and his beautiful eyes widened in disbelief. You are from Bai Zi. Not bad. The person Momoshiki thought of was none other than Bai Zi. He was the only one who had this ability, but what Momoshiki couldn't have imagined was that Bai Zi's subordinates, in addition to the Yanwang pirates, had such a powerful character. A single subordinate has strength no less than his own, which shows how huge Bai Zi's power is. Of course, what Momoshiki didn't know was that what she saw at the moment was all the power Bai Zi possessed, but she didn't believe it. Oh, it seems that you have a lot of dialogue with young Master Bai. Seeing Momoshiki's words, he guessed the body of the person behind him, and said in surprise. Mentioning Bai Zi, Momoshiki's eyes lighted up, and after pondering for a moment, he said, actually, Bai Zi has saved my life and rebuilt me. Those who were redeemed by young Master Bai heard Momoshiki's words. Tsunade was stunned, but he was afraid that the nine-tailed demon fox who was squinting at the side also opened his eyes. Momoshiki is like this, so why aren't they like that? Thinking back to the time when the nine-tailed cholera Konoha, if Bai Zi hadn't appeared, I am afraid that the nine tails at the moment would still be there, being used by outsiders, and Tsunade might have been dead for a long time. Can you tell me about you and Bai Xiao? Listening to Momoshiki's own similar experiences, he asked in a rare gossip. Since you and Jue belong to young Master Bai, then I won't hide it from you. Until this moment, Momoshiki completely believed what Tsunade said, and then he learned Bai Zi's name for the first time, and took Marine to attack the Yanwang pirates, until Bai Zi made a bold move when he was in danger. Killed thousands of pirates in 1 second, and turned her hands to suppress the dangers that she was unable to contend with at the time. One by one, as if they had been in a movie, they were reappeared in the minds and eyes of Momoshiki, Tsunade and the nine-tailed demon fox. For a moment, they felt that Bai Zi was the best person in the world. Little later, after Momoshiki finished speaking, Tsunade didn't hide it, and told his origins and some things that he had experienced with Bai Zi, but it scared Momoshiki to the ground. You said that they are not of this world. Momoshiki looked at Tsunade, and then at the nine-tailed demon fox, and finally set his eyes on Tsunade, and his heart immediately set off a storm. What did she hear? Not from this world, how could it be possible? She never heard that someone can go to other worlds, let alone other worlds to come to them can say what she is hearing at the moment, far beyond her comprehension. However, when she thought about it carefully, she had just fought against Tsunade. That strange ability was indeed something she had never seen before. It was very strange, and it was very powerful. Shocked Momoshiki the most was that the nine tails were not Tsunade's pet, but a beast like her and Tsunade who was rescued by Bai Zi. Of course, this beast was nine tails from another world. Moreover, according to what Tsunade said, she was not the opponent of the nine tails at this time, which shocked Momoshiki even more. To know that Tsunade's strength was already the same as her, it would not be difficult to contend against the four emperors, and nine tails stronger than them. Isn't that Nyang Exapi's existence, surpassing the existence of the four emperors? Bai Xiao said, here in Marine, Nine Tails and I are mainly you, and we will do all kinds of preparations for the future destruction of Mariajoy. Tsunade told Momoshiki of her intention of coming. The waves of information made Momoshiki's mind roar. It was really too sudden that the reinforcements came, which caught her off guard for a while, and it was still such a powerful reinforcement. No matter Tsunade or Ju-tail, they are all beings that are even more powerful than herself, and such an existence listens to her own dispatch, which makes her feel flattered. At the same time, she admired Bai Zi even more in her heart, and even had a little admiration for it. Of course she didn't even notice it. Chapter 170 Kill Wable Mother and Son. Islands separately. Momoshiki returned to Marineford to continue preparing for the plan to destroy Tenryubito, while Tsunade and Ninetails went to Charlotte Linlin's jurisdiction, Wangwo. As for the very simple purpose, it is to kill Whitebeard to Edward Wable, an existence that everyone at the top of the pirates is afraid of. It is about Whitebeard, and it is not surprising that they are so. If Edward Wable is really Whitebeard's son, then Whitebeard will definitely go crazy for revenge, and kill him at any cost. Killing children, that is the hatred of the sky. Wangwo, a small island under the power of the dead Charlotte Linlin. Kill. Ha ha ha, happy. Thousands of pirates howled with excitement, their eyes were red, staring at the fat prey, and the whole island entered the Shira hell in an instant, screaming incessantly. Mama, where shall we go after we capture this island? A sturdy man with a body of 5 or 6 meters, with a slender white beard floating on the sides, but his intelligence does not seem to be very high. This man was none other than Edward Wable, who claimed to be Whitebeard's son, and next to him was Barkin, who claimed to be Whitebeard's wife. Good boy, take this island and take Mama to a good place to eat good food. Now our bounty has reached 600 million Bailey. This level is still far from the level of the 5 emperors. In the future, you will want to become one of the One Piece King of Pirates and keep killing until the bounty crosses 1 billion Baileys. Kill everyone to become a One Piece King of Pirates mother and give delicious food. For the delicious food, these people have to die. As soon as Wable heard Mama's promise, his eyes were full of brilliance, and then his eyes fell on the people on the island, and their eyes were full of viciousness. Mama, look at me, I smashed this piece of people into meat patties with one punch. While speaking, Wable raised his casserole-sized fist, looked down at the ant-like island natives, and smashed his right fist full of armament hockey. Rumbling with Wable's excited blow, the air was rumbled by his smashing, the speed was fast, and the blink of an eye was extreme. Boom! The dull sound came, and the expected picture of the earth and rocks shattering did not appear, but Wable, the little giant, was directly smashed by the unparalleled force, and he stumbled back, taking 5 or 6 steps back. It's too far to stop. Wable. The sudden mutation. Ba Jin's folded old eyes trembled. You are. Ba Jin, who screamed in surprise, saw the person who suddenly appeared from Wei Bu, and he stepped back again and again with one punch, feeling even more unpleasant. Oh, it hurts, it hurts. Cried out loudly, like a child being beaten in pain. That's right, it's crying, it's Wable's intellect stuck in childhood instincts. Bastard. Wable killed her, killed that woman. But as soon as Ba Jin's voice fell, Tsunade, who came at the speed of light from the opposite side, had already made the next move, multiple shadow clone technique. Under the seal in Tsunade's hand, all of a sudden there were shadow clones around Tsunade's deity, roughly estimated to be thousands. Kill. The instant the thousands of shadow clones appeared, before Ba Jin could react, he was crushed by the thousands of pirates on the island, and in an instant there were dozens of Wable's subordinates on the ground. A massacre started here. It hurts, I killed you. Wable looked at the Tsunade deity who remained in the field, and angrily and fiercely shot at Tsunade with all his strength. Go to death. 3 doors open. Rokushiki, 6 styles. Hundreds of heroes. Who was coming from the top of the Tianshan Mountains. Tsunade did not dodge in the slightest, and chose hard steel directly, and slammed it with a right fist. Bang kacha! 2 disproportionate fists slammed together fiercely, and the crisp bone-cracking sound instantly rose in the field from the center point of the collision between the 2 fists. Ow! A terrifying scream. It came out from Wable's throat, and then Wable's huge figure of 5 or 6 meters turned into an enlarged cannonball, which burst out, and was directly smashed by a punch and flew more than 100 meters away. How is it possible? Ba Jin's eyes were full of disbelief, but just as Ba Jin was stunned, Tsunade's shadow avatar punched the old and frail Ba Jin abruptly. Blood rained, and this scene just fell into Wable's eyes. No, Mama. You killed your mother, you actually killed Mama, I want you to die. Die. Ba Jin's death had a great impact on Weibo. In an instant, 2 bloodstains appeared in Weibo's eyes, and the aura around his body suddenly became dangerous, and he directly entered the violent mode. It's you who killed your mother, Die. Weibo's face was full of hideousness, and a punch like Shun directly smashed into Tsunade's clone who had killed Ba Jin before. Boom, click, click. Weibo just hit that hidden clone. Tsunade's main body was covered with armament, and even the ultimate punch of Rokushiki hit Weibo's heart with precision. After the punch, Weibo's blood splattered, and a string of blood flowers fell from the air. The Hungarian bones were shattered and smashed hundreds of feet away, and a mouthful of blood was sprayed out again. His face was as pale as paper, strong as mighty in Boer. He was directly damaged and half crippled by Tsunade, and Weibo's reputation here is terrible. Chapter 171 is that. Tsunade Vice Admiral. Ground shattered, and the situation strongly suppressed Edward Weibo, and his mother Ba Jin was directly smashed into meat sauce by a shadow clone of Tsunade. From the beginning to the end, the people on the island, who had been frightened for less than a minute, were stunned for a long time and returned to their senses one after another. Saved. Somewhere in the crowd on the island, there was a murmur that was almost dreamy, and the people around were in an uproar. Really saved. Marine saved us. That. The female god of war Marine is so powerful. Edward Weibo and Ba Jin were both defeated by her. Woo 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 Hai finally shot. Will that devil Weibo finally be suppressed? It's so scary. The people on the island were in an uproar, but at the same time Tsunade took out the phone bug and made a call to report it. Marine Headquarters, Sengoku Office. Blue, what did you say? Ba Jin has been killed. Edward Weibo has also been suppressed. Well, I will send someone over immediately. Hanging up the phone, Sengoku smoked a rare cigarette and breathed a deep sigh of relief, even though it was an order to let the nearby Marine go to Tsunade to suppress Weibo's island. Long before that guy Tsunade killed Ba Jin directly, and Weibo was also suppressed. This was obviously a gesture of ignoring Whitebeard's reaction. It was Momoshiki Admiral before, and now it is Tsunade Vice Admiral. The heyday of their Marine is coming. Half an hour later. On the island where Tsunade was located, the nearby Marine finally came to panic. After all, this is the area where Charlotte Linlin is located. There are countless big pirates here. In a sense, this area is the restricted area of Marine. And this time, it was one of the few who received an order from above to send troops to all countries, so how could they not be nervous? But when they arrived at the destination that their superiors received, and saw the figures on the island, they couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. That's Tsunade Vice Admiral. 3 punches destroyed Tsunade Vice Admiral of the Supernova Kid Pirates, and the person who asked us to cooperate turned out to be Tsunade Vice Admiral. Tsunade Vice Admiral 4 words, hesitating for the uneasy Marine, a reassurance, big pirates like Kid have been defeated by Tsunade Vice Admiral 3 punches. Strength is definitely approaching the Admiral level, and with such an existence, it can be said that Charlotte Linlin cannot be encountered in this sea area, and no one can hurt them. However, the wave of Marine who soon came to the square was frightened by the scene in front of her. That's Edward Weibo, oh my gosh. No way, could it be that Tsunade Vice Admiral's mission this time is to suppress Edward Weibo? It is very likely that Edward Weibo and Ba Jin have recently launched a strangulation of dehumanization on many nearby islands. Their bounty has also soared from 4.8 million to 600 million. Is this the strength of Tsunade Vice Admiral? The big pirate with a bounty of 600 million by Edward Weibo was suppressed by her. No, but I heard that even the 9-tailed fox on Tsunade Vice Admiral's shoulder can injure Jozu, the 3rd division of the Whitebeard pirates. Master Tsunade is too fierce. According to legend, this Edward Weibo is Whitebeard's son. Quote. Not only that, under the inspections of many Marines, the eyes are jumping wildly, because the field is full of corpses except for Edward Weibo, and they understand one thing very well. Now Edward Weibo is like this, then this mental retardation my mother, that. Ba Jin, who claims to be Whitebeard's lover, is afraid that there will be no scum left to die. Without Weibel's protection, that Ba Jin is not even a fart. Another quarter of an hour passed. On the island, I saw a flash of golden light, and then Kizaru of Glint Glint Fruit came to the field. Hehe, Tsunade Vice Admiral is really powerful. I'm afraid that his combat power is already comparable to Admiral. It seems that the next Marine Admiral must be you. Who came to the island? Observation Hockey even knew the situation of the battle, except Edward Weibel. Everyone including Ba Jin died. This guy really dared to kill Ba Jin. So far Whitebeard has not appeared. It appears that Edward Weibel is Whitebeard too as a rumor. The purpose of his trip is very simple. One is to escort Edward Weibel back to the Marine headquarters, and the other is to protect Tsunade from the Whitebeard pirates' sneak attack. Although Tsunade's strength is more than enough to protect himself, but Sengoku can't afford this risk. To know that in his opinion Tsunade is no less than Momosegi's existence, such a super monster, how could he easily let her take risks? Chapter 172_Blackbeard's plan starts. A few days later. Under the promotion of Marine Vice Admiral Tsunade once again destroyed Edward Weibel and Ba Jin after Kid, and it spread all over the world in an instant. Tsubayadi Bottom Islands, Marine Branch. Tsunade Vice Admiral, my god, it's so good, Edward Weibel has been killed. Yeah, he's already in jail now. Hey, I heard that. Ba Jin, who claimed to be Whitebeard's lover, was punched into meat patties by Tsunade Vice Admiral. Tisk tisk, what a really handsome girl. It's amazing that one person can destroy all the Edward Weibel pirates on the island of the world. With this battle, how dare those pirates underestimate our marine, Vice Admiral Tsunade, great job. Quote. Somewhere in the sea, the Moby Dick. Gu la 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 la, is there another monster genius comparable to Momoseги in marine? The hill-like figure laughed heartily, looking at the newspaper on the table in front of him. Edward Weibel and Ba Jin were suppressed by Marine Vice Admiral Tsunade, and Ba Jin was killed. Hehe, this mother and son have done a lot of bad things in the name of father. Marco drooped his eyelids and spoke feebly. Gu la 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 la, who cares, it has nothing to do with us. In order to celebrate we have another strong opponent, cheers. The red-haired pirates, aboard the Redford. Captain, there is new news from Marine. Edward Weibel was arrested and brought to justice by Marine Vice Admiral Tsunade, and Ba Jin was obliterated by him. Reikalu, who was obese and had meat in his hand, stared at the newspaper, and said with a gleam of brilliance in his eyes. Oh, that Edward Weibel. The pirate who claims to be a white child. When the red-haired Shanks heard Reikalu's words, a hint of interest rose in his eyes. The most important thing is that this man named Gang Jun Vice Admiral can arrest Edward Weibel and kill Ba Jin. His strength is not far from Marine Admirals. During this time, Marine has a lot of talents. Momoseги is the first. And now there is Tsunade. Then Beckman puffed out the smoke and looked towards the Marine headquarters, and it is said that one of this person's pets injured the 3rd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates. Ha 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 ha, it's not important, come on, have a banquet today, don't get drunk. The redhead raised his big wine glass and laughed at the crowd, apparently not taking it to heart. At the same time when all parties shook, the Charlotte Linland Sea area was all nations. Haihuhu is rapidly expanding his power. Z also learned the news, and Blackbeard Teach and many elite cadres and members also analyze the current situation. Marine has produced a good genius vice admiral again, and may become an admiral-level existence in the future. The corners of Burgess' mouth twitched into a meaningful arc, and he clenched his huge fist, as if he wanted to fight that. Tsunade Vice Admiral. It's a good opponent. As soon as Burgess' voice fell, the corner of Van Auger's mouth, the sniper of the Blackbeard Pirates, flashed a playful arc. I don't know, she can take a few shots from herself. As a sniper of the Blackbeard Pirates, Van Auger's ability to assassinate is quite outstanding. If observation hockey is not trained to the top, it is difficult to find his hidden traces. Akainu who died in the war on the top was very fond of him. It is fear, because you will be bitten by this sinister poisonous snake at some point. From poisoning, to death. Captain, during this time, Charlotte Linlin's power has also been annexed by us by as much as 80%. I think it is time for us to announce. Teach's ship medicine is full of strange essence, and the fingertips brushed by the scythe of its weapon, and under the sunlight, it reflects the sharp edge, which makes people look cold. Yes, Captain, we have been preparing for a long time. Marine talents are coming out in large numbers, and our pirate world is about to change. The elite crew of Blackbeard, nicknamed the Big Bucket, Senran Hei Isho, although he is a crew member, his combat power is no worse than the cadres of ordinary big pirates. As many cadres and elite members took the lead, other crew members also echoed, and their eyes were full of excitement. The sound of howling pierced the air, and then spread to all directions. It was cut off for a long time. The tens of thousands of pirates recruited in the distance were even more excited. With the momentum in full swing, the corners of Blackbeard Teach's mouth twitched. Now that he has the dual effects of the Dark Fruit and Soul Fruit, his combat power is no worse than any of the 5 emperors, and he is even at the top of the 5 emperors. Location. Blackbeard Teach, who is relieved, has been planning for several years, for this moment, from the beginning of the premeditated plan to join Whitebeard, to killing Thatch's rebellion, to the top of the war, and so on. Passing by, at a certain moment, the corners of Teach's mouth curved into an arc, and he looked at the tens of thousands of pirates under his command, and his loud voice spread with him as the center. Okay, I announce that from now on, the Blackbeard pirates will replacing the original 4 emperors pirates Charlotte Linlin and becoming the new 5 emperors. Burgess, I'll leave the details of this matter to you. Be sure to let the whole world know within a day that I, Blackbeard Teach, have become the new 5 emperors. Yes, Captain. Chapter 173 The world boils, Blackbeard moves. After half a day, the whole world is boiling. The Marine headquarters was still immersed in Tsunade's suppression of Edward Wable, and the news that Blackbeard Teach had killed Charlotte Linlin swept like a hurricane. Sengoku, who was not long before his abdication, couldn't sit still when he heard the news. What did you say? Blackbeard Teach killed the original 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin, and also got her soul fruit, and now replaces Charlotte Linlin as the new 5 emperors. From his confidence was like a one cannonball exploded in Sengoku the Buddha's mind. The shock of this news was too great for him. Who is Charlotte Linlin? Back then, there were 4 dignified emperors with countless abilities. Even if Baizi and Momoshige killed Charlotte Linlin's 3 desert generals and many cadres, he did not underestimate the person in power of the Charlotte family. The power of the soul fruit is undeniable, and Charlotte Linlin's terrifying power is even greater than that of the giants. Even if Admiral encounters her, she will shy away from the edge. Now, such a character has been killed. Although Charlotte Linlin had an arm cut off by Baizi before, Whitebeard was suspected of taking advantage of it, but his ability to kill Charlotte Linlin is enough to explain everything. The most important thing is that the Blackbeard here got Charlotte Linlin's soul fruit, plus the dark fruit on his body. Under the blessing of the 2, his power can be imagined. The entire marine heard about this. It was as if a basin of cold water fell on the head, which woke everyone up. A soldier in Marine's headquarters, shaking Vivi's hands holding a newspaper. How is this possible? 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin was actually killed. The soldier looked at the newspaper in his hand in disbelief, as if he had been struck by lightning, and fell into a sluggish state. 4 emperors, that is the 4 emperors, the existence of the high above, and now one of them has been killed. These 4 emperors, to be precise, the 5 emperors are fighting too fiercely. Although Charlotte Linlin died, but they have nothing to say, as for the simple reason. Charlotte Linlin is dead, but there is someone more terrifying than her, stepping on Charlotte Linlin's body and sitting firmly in the seat of the 5th emperor. Blackbeard teaches a terrible and insidious existence, originally in order to seek Whitebeard's shocking fruit. He joined his subordinates to spy for a long time like a viper, and finally found that Whitebeard's strength was too strong for him to deal with, so he had to take the second place and killed Thatch, the captain of the 4th Division, and took away the dark fruit in his hand, and then almost succeeded in a sneak attack on the top of the war to kill Whitebeard piece by piece, flashing in front of every Marine like a movie, insidious, cunning, vicious, each word is completely tailor-made for Teach. The entire Marine caused a great uproar because of the sudden rise of Blackbeard Teach. Not only Marine, but the world was boiling over it. It can be said that the emergence of Byzee and Blackbeard made the originally rising era of the great pirate enter a rapid and violent era. Acceleration period. Many well-known great pirates are rushing towards the new world like moths to a flame, dedicating their own sparks to the era of great pirates. One new star after another has risen in the new world, and thus become famous all over the world. At the same time, Blackbeard Teach has not stopped his pace. If he wants to gain a firm foothold in the seat of the 5 emperors, he must prove to the whole world that he's strength. Therefore, Blackbeard set his target on the Whitebeard pirates, who had an unresolvable revenge. Somewhere near the Whitebeard pirates. Captain Jozu, that Teach who killed the captain of the 4th Division became the 5th emperor, is that true? One of Jozu's subordinates stared at the newspaper in his hand with hatred on his face. Call. Although I don't want to admit it, this is absolutely true, that Teach really underestimated him. He should have smashed him with a punch. The captain of the 3rd Division, Jozu, said with eyes full of hatred, that he and Thatch have always had a good relationship, and the two of them were interns who joined the Whitebeard pirates at the same time. The friendship along the way can be described as very deep. Gia Gia Gia, what a big breath. As expected of the captain of the 3rd Division of the Whitebeard pirates, but you are sure that you have the strength, Gia Gia. Above the sea, as if the sound from the demon abyss overflowed, and lingered in the ears of Jozu and the others. In an instant, everyone shivered. Blackbeard Teach, it's you. Seeing the person coming, Jozu's anger rose to the top, and his eyes were full of ruthless gleams. If his eyes could kill people, the Blackbeard at this moment must have died countless times. Chapter 174 Jozu's Tragic Death. Above the sea. The huge pirate ship is none other than the biggest enemy of the Whitebeard pirates, Blackbeard Teach, who previously attacked their 4th Division Captain Thatch to death for the dark fruit. A very insidious villain, Jozu saw him with bad intentions before. If Whitebeard stopped him, he would definitely let this guy get out of their pirate group, and if that was the case, their 4th Division Captain Thatch would not be killed by this guy. All sorts of past events come to mind. Anger is soaring. Die. Foot. Jozu's giant diamond fist with a size of about a jong was attacked at Teach in the next moment, and the speed was so fast that it was in the blink of an eye. The face of Jozu's angry blow. The surrounding Burgess and many other captains and crew all looked at Jozu with a playful look, without the slightest worry on their faces. After all, they are too clear about their captain's current strength. As expected, before Jozu got close, the dark fruit ability instantly acted on Jozu, and then poked out with a claw, and appeared in an instant with a tricky trajectory that cut through the void. In Jozu's neck, to be honest, Jozu's current strength is not enough to see in Teach's eyes. But this didn't end. Open black lens bracket soul spell close black lens bracket. Teach, who evoked a cruel arc, used the ability of the soul and soul fruit on the Whitebeard pirates for the first time, and couldn't help but feel very excited. Gia Gia, the captain of the 3rd Division of Jozu, you were not my opponent before, let alone now. The captain of the Whitebeard pirates, the soul must be very delicious. At the time of the evil laugh, the fearful Jozu's body VV twitched, and the next moment a strange scene appeared in the field. A black soul was forcibly pulled out of Jozu's body by Teach, and then it was even more lifespan deprivation of Jozu for the unit. When the soul is more than half weak and returned to Jozu's body, the Jozu in front of him has become an old man with gray hair, aging and frail, completely lost the vitality just now. The strange and ruthless means can be seen from this. Death, our dear Captain Jozu is yours. There was a strange cold glow in the Blackbeard's eyes, and a dying ship doctor beside him said with a gloomy laughter. Originally, he was dying, and when Teach gave him the ability person as a specimen, his morbid eyes flickered with strange light, and he looked at Jozu with white hair, and the corners of his mouth were full of chilling smiles. Hey, don't worry, Captain, promise not to let him die so soon. Saying that, Grim Reaper, who rubbed his hands, held Jozu's ankle, and headed towards the research room inside the ship. After a while, Jozu's shrill and painful screams came from the research room, and it was Burgess and many others. When the cadres heard this voice, the corners of their mouths twitched. This poison is indeed a lunatic. 1 minute, 10 minutes, half an hour. After a full hour, the shrill and painful sound of the research room died down. Following the creaking of gate of opening, Poison carried Joe by the neck and walked out of the room. When he came out, a happy arc appeared on his face. When Burgess and the others saw Jozu who was dying, their eyebrows understood, and sure enough, Jozu was killed by this guy. Hey, I didn't expect this guy to be so persistent that he could last an hour in my hands. Ignoring the contempt of Burgess and the others, he said it comfortably. Since it's dead, leave it in the sea to feed the sea kings. Teach glanced at Jozu, who was dead, and waved his hand. Hey, Captain, just to see how strong the new poison I'm researching is. After speaking, Jozu's body was thrown into the sea by the poison, and the many sea kings who had already smelled the smell of blood could not calm down, and the hungry tiger smashed Jozu's body to eat. While spots of scarlet blood water appeared on the sea surface, but it was not pure scarlet, but a strange purple-black color mixed with it. Obviously, this penetrating purple-black color is the poison newly developed by Poison. After half an hour, around Teach's huge ship, dozens of sea kings turned their stomachs and died in the sea. The picture was chilling, and each sea king was covered with abnormal purple and black. Death, it seems that your poison has improved a lot. Burgess looked at the dozens of sea kings around him, and looked at the poison with fear. If this family used the poison on them, they might not be able to survive. Thanks to the Jozu given by the captain, otherwise this poison would not have been researched so quickly. If there were a few more, the level of this poison could be multiplied several times. Poison is as rare as a family, and it is said in a slightly ostentatious way. But it was Teach here, looking at Whitebeard's territory with his eyes back, the best gloomy color flashed. Don't worry, after a while, your research goal will be indispensable, this Jozu is just our appetizer. Chapter 175 Prehistoric Island, Battle of the Giants. The next day, at dawn. The rising sun in the sky was just about to emerge, but at this slightly cold time, after Blackbeard replaced the former 4 Emperor Charlotte Linlin as the new 5 Queens, another unprecedented event spread to every corner of the world like a thunderbolt on the ground. And this news is nothing else, it is the news that the captain of the 3rd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, Jozu, was killed in the sea by Blackbeard. The Whitebeard Pirates were extremely furious, and Whitebeard himself was even more furious, and immediately ordered his troops to move towards Blackbeard and killed him. A battle between the 5 emperors is quietly and rapidly staged in the New World, and the protagonists of both sides are the Blackbeard Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates. On the other side, Fishman Island Yonwang Pirates headquarters. As early as after the previous battle with the Red Hair, Baizi got the Myriad Realms character transformation card. Now everything is going in the direction he expected, and he finally made time here to experience the transformation of this Myriad Realms character. The magic of cards. Use. A thought of Baizi, he activated the Myriad Realms character transformation card. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the transformation ability of Aizen Sosuke. The transformed host will have the appearance of Aizen Sosuke, and will have all his abilities. Soon as the system's voice fell, Baizi's mind had a little more information on how to use the transformation ability. After sorting out the Wang Yang-like information in his mind, Baizi couldn't help but look forward to it. Z is miraculously disappeared in place, replaced by a man with short brown hair, black eyes and brown eyes. This person is none other than the captain of the former 5th Division of the 13th Team, the villain Aizen in the manga Death God, and he is also an invincible existence. A flash, Shirakawa Ubu, to be precise, Aizen, who was Shirayawa's incarnation, left Fishman Island without disturbing anyone. After about half a day, following his own swamp, he came to Prehistoric Island, an extremely terrifying existence. At the same time, a war on Prehistoric Island is brewing. The scorching hot air rises from the fire that is about to erupt and shoots straight into the sky, causing a cloud of mist to evaporate hundreds of feet high into the sky, lingering on it, and it has not dissipated for a long time. Entire Prehistoric Island jungle is full of prehistoric dinosaurs and beasts. In a sense, this is a small Jurassic era. Ha ha. Ha Dory, we have played 73,467 games for more than 100 years now, all of which are dead ends, and now the volcano erupts and we fight again. This time I will definitely defeat you. The red ghost Brigitte, fiery eyes were full of fighting intent, and excitedly slammed into the shield held in his left hand with the giant sword several meters long in his hand, sending out all the crisp and piercing sound waves. A single action, a substantial sound wave slammed toward the 4 poles, and all the beasts and dinosaurs around were frightened and fled. I'm afraid you won't succeed, you couldn't beat me before, and it's the same now. Wearing warrior armor, wearing a helmet, holding a huge long sword in the right hand, and holding a round shield in the left, another giant with a long beard, Dory's thunderous sound waves then rippling, and glanced at the volcano that was about to erupt. The situation, obviously knowing that the time for the 73,468th battle between the two has come. If that's the case, let's fight. Hongli Brigitte roared in the sky with a flushed face, and slammed his right foot on the ground, and the surrounding ground immediately trembled. With a terrifying momentum, it turned into a huge black shadow. With Blue Ogre Dory headed over. The momentum is absolutely splitting the mountains and opening the sea, and an attack is extremely fast. Facing Brigitte's savage blow, the giant Dory on the opposite side was not afraid at all, and immediately he was waving the long sword in his hand, and greeted the long sword that fell on the head. 2 long swords of several meters collided, with the 2 as the center point. An unparalleled hurricane swirls, and instantly spreads into the jungle beside the surrounding lawn, blowing the branches and leaves. The clothes of the 2 also moved without the wind. After one blow, the 2 figures flew out at the same time, and 2 traces were plowed on the ground, and they each stopped more than 10 feet away. The 2 have fought more than 70,000 times over the past 100 years, and they have not been able to decide the winner. The strength is obviously equal. If the 2 sides insist on the winner, the outcome will obviously be a protracted war and a war of attrition. This was the case in every previous battle, and today's battle is no exception. Rocks collapsed, and the mountains and seas opened. The earth shook and the mountains were destroyed. 15 hours, 2/4 of an hour. It was as if the apocalypse had come, and countless small beasts were under the aftermath of the 2 of them, causing many casualties, and the data soared like crazy. Chapter 176_World-Destroying Magma, Blue Die Shot. Prehistoric Island, the war to destroy the world is in full swing. Blue Ogre Dory and the Red Ghost Brigitte are both angry, their eyes are red, you come and I go earth-shattering, and many dinosaurs in the distance lift their eyes and forget the past, and when their eyes fall on the fierce fighting Dory Brigitte, they are full of wildness. His pupils were full of fear. At the beginning, they were of course dissatisfied with the actions of these 2 humans, but when these 2 terrifying humans showed their tyrannical strength, they knew that those 2 humans were very dangerous, and it was not something they could offend. Moreover, their companions have somehow become the food of these 2 huge guys. However, Dory and the Red Ghost have underestimated this volcanic eruption, and an unprecedented crisis is brewing from the crater. At the same time that Dory and Dory were fighting, Aizen, the incarnation of Baizi, also appeared on the edge of the prehistoric island in the form of light, and then disappeared again in the form of light, and in the next moment, he had already disappeared into the jungle. If Admiral Kizaru saw it, absolutely astonished, because that kind of speed is something he can't even do. Roar felt the sudden appearance of the light form, surrounded by a number of irritable Spinosaurus, 7 or 8 meters high. Bloodthirsty color flashed in the pupils, a row of ferocious fangs, coupled with strong and developed forelimbs, combined with huge its claws show its terrifying power everywhere, and there are mortal thorns on its back to intimidate the enemy. When the first 3 headless Spinosaurus made a whistling sound that pierced the air, and then stepped on its strong forelimbs, it rushed towards Aizen, who transformed into Bai-Z. Seeing the several Spinosaurus attacking violently on the opposite side, Lan Ran's mouth twitched. 63-6 Thunder Roar Cannons. After chanting in a low voice, with Aizen's right hand as the center, thunder and lightning the thickness of a bucket instantly appeared on several Spinosaurus. In an instant, the blue and white thunder and lightning engulfed Spinosaurus, and several Spinosaurus even screamed. Before he could react, he was turned into fly ash by Aizen's terrifying thunder roar, and not even slag remained. The blue and white light of dozens of meters broke through the sky and went straight into the sky. The entire prehistoric island was vibrated by a minute, and the location of several Spinosaurus, but at this moment, a deep pit of more than 10 meters appeared. Nothing else. Beasts and dinosaurs around who originally wanted to attack the blue dye were instantly stunned when they saw several ferocious Spinosaurus. Their scarlet eyes suddenly turned into intense fear, and they fled in fear and fled. After a short while, they left. In the field. Terrifying, this human is terrifying, even more terrifying than those 2 giants. The change in the field also alerted the 2 people who were separated by a blow from Yuri and Brigitte, and looked at the edge of the island thousands of meters away. In the jungle, where there is blue and white phase electricity, it is solemn, because from the blue and white thunder and lightning, they feel was severely threatened. Rumble right in Dori Brigitte dread. Aizen's thunder roar cannon seemed to be the last straw that stimulated the eruption of the volcano. The hot rocks brewing endless danger rose up into the sky. It covers thousands of feet in a radius, and then spreads far away. No, run Brigitte. Fight another day. They completely underestimated this volcanic eruption. It can be said that this is the most violent volcanic eruption in the history of prehistoric island. Compared with the dead Marine Admiral Akainu, it is a lot more powerful, and this is where Dori Brigitte can compete. Broken, it's too late. Dori Brigitte's faces were heavy, and they looked at the huge sea of magma that covered the sky and fell in the air. In the face of the disaster that destroyed the sky and the earth, although they were not giants, they seemed so insignificant. Calcium carbide fireworks, all-round thunder. Brigitte's eyes widened. After fighting for more than 100 years, they never imagined that they would end up on prehistoric island in this way. Between life and death, the eyes of the 2 of them were full of bitterness. For more than 100 years, it was a momentary anger, but now they are so naive. Before dying, they can die with their long-term friends, and it is not in vain for them to fight hard for more than 100 years. Of friendship. Hee, Dori below, we continue to fight. Good. Before Dori finished saying the word, good, a rumbling sound resounded above the 2 of them, and at the same time, a shout came from their ears, open black lens bracket bounding the way, 81 breaking the air close black lens bracket. Was a thunderous loud noise, and a huge defensive light wall centered on the 2 of them instantly stretched under the endless magma ocean, which was huge. The terrifying magma ocean fell violently on the 1000-jong barrier, but it didn't drip anymore, and the 2 Dori who lived below looked up at the void barrier with horrified expressions, their mouths wide open. What a terrifying strength, the power of one person against the magma Wang-yang of the volcano eruption. The strength of this person has never been seen before. Instant, all the vegetation and beasts within a radius of 1,000 meters between the 2 were sheltered by the barrier, and as for the dinosaurs thousands of feet away, they were instantly burned into Kurozumi by the hot magma. A single blow can protect thousands of feet. The magma Wang-yang fell and turned into fiery stones, while mists rose from the prehistoric island. A figure in the form of light quietly appeared in the void hundreds of feet away from Dori and Dori. Chapter 177 Defeat the Green and Red Two Ghosts. The prehistoric island, which had been devastated by Dory and Brigitte, was devastated by a volcanic eruption, and nearly a quarter of the entire island was destroyed. Looking around, it gives people a kind of incomplete beauty. Dong Lin's pair of huge eyes stared at the light form and disappeared, replaced by a handsome and easy-going long-haired man. You are none other than Baizi, who saved Dong Lin and Brigitte at a critical moment and turned into Aizen. This person is so strong. Donglin, Brigitte and the two have the same idea, too strong. They can't imagine that one person can resist the destructive magma Wang Yang with a flip of his hand. Such power is enough to withstand compared with the 5 emperors today. They are very clear that the person in front of them is definitely not the 5 emperors. Thank you, Lord, for saving me both. Donglin pondered for a moment, and bowed respectfully to Aizen standing in the void hundreds of meters away in front of him. Although Aizen was only the size of an ant, the dangerous aura around him made him very jealous. Don't be too busy to thank you. The fearful Dory, what he wanted was this result, and the corners of his mouth raised a deep radiance. I have a purpose in saving you. From now on, you will serve under me when you wait for the two of you. Well, what if we don't agree? When he heard of serving Baizi, the red ghost Brigitte frowned and stared at Aizen the size of an ant with wide eyes. How could they, who were originally big pirates, serve a human? Oh, don't you agree? If that's the case, I'm sorry. If I can save you, I can also kill you. If you don't serve me, there is only one fate. Die. A dead word from Leng Yu instantly pierced the air and entered the ears of Dory, and Dory like the voice of a demon. The spiritual pressure around Aizen's body rose sharply, comparable to the coercion of the top Conqueror Haki, and it was like a mountain pressing on their shoulders in an instant. This is the top Conqueror Haki. No, not at all like Conqueror Haki. Dory Brigitte looked at each other, and the fear in their eyes was even stronger, which was comparable to the coercion of the top Conqueror Haki. What exactly is this guy? Sigh, really think we are? Brigitte. Before Brigitte could finish speaking, Dory stared at Aizen standing in the air opposite him, and said, this person is very powerful. If he can really get into his command, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Besides, our crew are waiting for us in the village of Elbaf. What? Under Dory's analysis, the impulsive Brigitte's mood calmed down a little, and it was in this room that Dory said in a deep voice to Baizi's transformation, Your Excellency is very powerful. I know that I am not an opponent, but if you want us to just obeying your orders, I am also dissatisfied. In this way, Your Excellency can take our joint strike, and I, Dory and Brigitte, will serve you in this life. Hearing Dory's words, Brigitte, who was originally dissatisfied, flickered with wisps of fine brilliance. What is their combined attack technique? If this guy can really block the combined attack technique, joining such a strong person will undoubtedly be for them in the future. Is a good guarantee. A little while. In the modeled field, both Donglin and Brigitte's expressions became solemn, because the next big move attack will determine the fate of them and the crew behind them. A certain moment, Dory Brigitte, whose momentum was brewing and soaring, one of them was full of cyan violent energy, and the other Brigitte was full of red energy. The two energies of blue and red perfectly merged, and the two big moves turned into a huge cone-shaped joint attack, and they slammed out with their weapons. A violent cone of energy, rapidly spinning towards Aizen, drink open black lens bracket Hakoku. The Dory and Dory shouted in unison, and a cone-shaped shock wave with a size of several tens of meters, carrying an unparalleled offensive, suddenly rushed towards Aizen, and the speed was extremely fast. This move, the two of them, as captains of giant pirates, have the strongest offensive, and they have established immortal fame in the New World with this move. A single blow, wherever it passes, it can be said that no grass grows, and the ground collapses and the mountains are cracked. The 95 dragons of the path breaking down. Facing the conical shock wave coming from the top, Aizen's spiritual pressure rose all over the body, and the dragon-shaped spiritual pressure with a height of more than 100 meters groaned, and in the next instant, it attacked the Hakoku of the two-man attack technique. The two collided, facing the domineering energy of the dragon-shaped spiritual pressure. Dory's combined attack technique Hakoku only resisted Shunchu, but was crushed into pieces by the dragon-shaped spiritual pressure, and then turned into an incomparable torrent. Bumped into Dory Brigi. Instant, the two seemed to have been hit by 2,000-foot sea kings, and they flew out more than 100 feet, only to vent the power of the aftermath. Poof! The moment they stopped, the two of them opened their mouths, and the blood flowed out like a stream. Their faces suddenly turned white, they raised their eyes, and looked at the man hanging in the air again. Their hearts were greatly shocked. This guy's strength is so terrifying. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download Fei Lu's novel. Chapter 178 _ Create a Hunter Guild. Ding! Congratulations to the host demon contract binding Blue Ogre Dory successfully. Perfect level. Ding! Congratulations on the successful binding of the Red Ghost Brigi to the host demon contract. Perfect level. 2 demon contracts were bound. Aizen, who Baizi transformed into, applied 3 drops of recovery potion to the 2 of them, and then, just like before, a magical scene appeared. That the 2 of them caused due to their respective battles have recovered at an extremely fast speed, and not only that, the 2 people who were pirates and fought on prehistoric island for more than 100 years have left behind many dark diseases, all of which have been miraculously treated. The expulsion of the 2, the battle strength of the 2 has also undergone a subtle change. 2 could react from their shock. They saw that Baizi shot a ball of white light at Dory. Take these medicines for your subordinates to take, 1 for each person. And Dory Brigi were stunned when they saw that it was the same potion just now. This is the reason why Marine Admiral, the 5 emperors and Shichibukai knew that they would get it at any cost. Muffled sounds resounded from the ground of prehistoric island. The 2 giant mountain-like Dory and Brigi knelt down on one knee, their eyes full of excitement and sincerity. Thank you for your gift. Oh, it's all about your own family. Accepting the 2 of Dory, Baizi was in a good mood, waving his hand and laughing. Dory and Brigi stood up, and the expressions in their eyes met for a moment, and they both saw the excitement in the other's eyes. Yes, excited. Judging from the situation just now, the strength of this lord in front of him is definitely at the level of 5 emperors. If they can join such an lord, who would dare to offend them in the future, and those people in their hometown will also have one more backer. That, I don't know what it is. Excited in his heart, Dory carefully took away the 50 potions given by Baizi, and asked gratefully. My name, Aizen. Baizi glanced at Dory, his majestic voice came to Dory Brigi's ears, and recorded the name firmly in his heart. Immediately, you wait for the 2 of you to recruit all your subordinates. The first task assigned to you is to build a headquarters here within half a month. The specific drawings are planned as follows. After speaking, Baizi was a huge piece of paper in his right hand, and then turned into an arc and flew towards Dory, landing firmly in his hand. Hunter Guild. Seeing the name marked on the most prominent place on the drawing, Dory murmured, and when he looked forward again, Aizen had disappeared, leaving only the devastated prehistoric island and Dory. Dory saw it right. Hunter Guild is a guild that Baizi will create as Aizen. Incorporating Dory and Brigi into the Hunter Guild is only the first step, and then there is the second step. The third step is to conquer Dory Brigi and create the Hunter Guild. Headquarters is the first step he has to do. As for the second step, he is looking for a well-known general counsel for the Hunter Guild, and he has already made a decision on this candidate. After Baizi left, Dory and Brigi informed the Elbaf giant warriors and ordered them to rush to prehistoric island as quickly as possible, the purpose of which was to build the first task that Master Aizen gave them. Although they didn't know what this so-called Hunters Guild was doing, they didn't dare to slack off in the orders of Aizen-sama, and it took half a month to say whether it was long or short. As for the various prehistoric dinosaurs around them, Dory and Brigi launched a near-extinction slaughter. After all, they didn't want the Hunter Guild ordered by Aizen-sama to be destroyed by these beasts. Few days later, prehistoric island is not known how far away. Somewhere in the sea. Kill. The sound of shouting and killing resounded in the whole sea area. Both sides were elite teams with tens of thousands of people, rushing up, all kinds of abilities tried their best. The whole scene was dark and dark, the sun and the moon. No light. Ha ha ha, dear daddy, go to hell. Open black lens bracket flame crit close black lens bracket. Black flames of dark water, like a demon in the abyss. Daddy be careful. Captain of the first team, Marco, saw Teach's sudden attack and even showed his mythical, Phoenix, ability, and greeted Teach who was punched with a loud Phoenix sound. PFF'd. A punch, Teach's right fist, under the power of the double devil fruit, instantly punched through the blue flames and hit Marco's mouth with precision. The bright red blood sprayed out, his face paled a bit, and his eyes were full of surprise when he looked at Teach. Hey, what? Captain Marco is surprised. Glancing at the shocked Marco, Teach grinned and said, Isho, you read that right, this is my current strength. Teach, I fought with you. But at this moment, the captain of the 6th Division, Bramank, roared fiercely and held the sledgehammer. The black armament instantly covered the whole sledgehammer from his wrist, and smashed his head towards Blackbeard. Not good, Flash. Seeing Bramank rushing towards Teach alone on impulse, Whitebeard flashed the soles of his feet and slashed towards Teach with a single blow. Hey, it's too late. When Teach saw that the shaking fruit was applied to the Guandao, he immediately moved the sun to block Prometheus, and at the same time, his right hand stretched forward, and the next moment his body disappeared from the place, and reappeared, already in one palm, holding a bang-bang beating bright red heart. Chapter 179_Fierce Battle. Bright red heart. That's right, the bright red heart is still beating violently, and every time it beats, there will be bright red blood gushing out from it like a small spring, flowing along the bright red heart in Teach's palm. Above, the picture is terrifying. The originally fierce battle was temporarily stopped because of this scene. More than 10,000 pirate members of the Whitebeard Pirates stared at the heart in Teach's hand, their eyes wide open. No, 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 how could Captain Blackman? Fake, must be fake. Bastard, that damn Teach actually killed Captain Blackman. Kill Teach to avenge Captain Blackman. Kill. Many members of the Whitebeard Pirates were angry, their eyes were red and they were screaming, and regardless of whether they were Teach's opponent or not, they all rushed forward. The anger in Whitebeard's chest swelled up, first his 4th Division Captain Thatch, then Jozu, and now Brackman, scene after scene, all irritating the aging old man. Teach squeezed hard in his hand, and the bright red heart immediately shattered, and then Teach punched Blackman again, smashing Blackman into meat sauce in front of Whitebeard, rustling. Float into the sea. Teach, you, die. Boundless anger rose in Whitebeard's chest, and the anger rose to the sky. A pair of cannibalistic eyes stared at Teach. If eyes could kill, Teach would have died many times at this moment. Hey, you are the one who is going to die. The corners of Teach's mouth twitched into a sharp arc, and a sinister color flashed, thunder. The sound of violent drinking fell, and the black thunder that was blessed by the black water was like the end of the day, and the next moment it appeared on the thousands of Whitebeard elites in front of it. Ah! No, I'm going to kill Teach. The image of Shira, which was sizzling and infiltrating, reappeared. Under the blow of Teach, thousands of people and horses struggled for an instant, all of them were planted on the ground and turned into thousands of cold corpses. Open black lens bracket concussion tsunami close black lens bracket. Thousands of elite subordinates died unintentionally, as if they were the last to crush Whitebeard, directly launching a big move. His fists ripped apart the atmosphere, the sea under his feet surged up, and thousands of feet moved towards the Teach crowd, covering the sky and the sun with a bang. Kill him. Dad shot, killed Teach, and avenge the 3 captains Sa, Jozu and Brackman. The remaining 8,000 elite subordinates stared at Teach with venomous eyes. That guy actually killed the 3 captains one after another. He was definitely the number 1 enemy of their Whitebeard pirates. Seeing Whitebeard unleashing his ultimate move, one by one I can't wait to see the painting of Teach's tragic death. In this way can the hatred in their hearts be alleviated a little. Hey, Dad, it looks like you're getting old. Facing the sky-covering waves in front of him, Blackbeard Teach cast a mocking glance at Whitebeard. If it was before, I might still be afraid of you, but now. Open black lens bracket big waves close black lens bracket. Teach's endless soul power is injected into the sea area under his feet, and at the same time, the ability of the dark fruit is also attached to the sea area controlled by it, even if it turns into a black wave of thousands of feet. The two waves collided with each other in an instant, making a deafening clatter, and the surrounding pirates fell into the sea like dumplings one by one, embarrassed. Cough cough cough. Teach is so powerful now that even Dad couldn't take him down for a while. Under Marco's mood swings, a mouthful of blood spurted out again. The same is true for Marco, and the other squad leaders and elite members are also shocked beyond words. This Teach, although they know that Teach has a hidden strength, and the strength is very good, but they never imagined that the silent Teach already has the strength to compete with their father. The guy beats it with one punch. Ah! Critical moment of the battle between Teach and Whitebeard, Jin Gudo, the captain of the 11th Division, screamed and was punched in the head by Burgess, the first cadre of Teach. Immediately, the whole head exploded, the brains splashed, and the headless body fell into the sea. No, Teach. Burgess, you are courting death. Kill. Many of Whitebeard's captains saw Jin Gudo killed, their anger rose again, and they rushed towards Burgess with endless anger. Damn, can't make it, what? Poof. The captain of the 15th Division, and the next poison appeared beside Fosa, with a sinister voice, hee hee, it seems that you have forgotten me. Fosa. Bastard. Shrill screams of course caught Whitebeard's attention, and when he was distracted, Teach, who was shattered, sensed an opportunity and immediately struck out. Open black lens bracket flame jet close black lens bracket. The black flames suddenly hit the yellow dragon and hit Whitebeard's heart in an instant. With such a savage blow, even though Whitebeard had the effect of a recovery potion, he couldn't resist such high-intensity damage. Spot, the sound of poof was a splash of blood. How could Teach miss this opportunity? With a flash, armament hockey once again covered the entire fist. Under the acceleration, dozens of punches slammed into the ground. Whitebeard belly. Chapter 180 Rokushiki, 6 styles katakana middle. Mirror flame. Dozens of punches, the sullen Teach hit Whitebeard's rib with another blow from the sky, and at least 4 ribs were shattered immediately. I don't know how many mouthfuls of blood I vomited one after another. When I came back to my senses, an air shock knocked Teach out hundreds of feet. Marco and the others, who had already rushed over, immediately supported Whitebeard and looked at Teach with a murderous look. Dad, how are you all right? Damn Teach, you are courting death. The rest of the captains, one by one, filled with resentment and grief, suffered a crushing defeat. Their Whitebeard pirates suffered an unprecedented crushing defeat. Although several of Teach's cadres also died, all of them were insignificant. Hee hee, that's all I have to say. After finishing speaking, Teach's eyes fell on Whitebeard again, and jokingly said, Whitebeard, your time has passed, and you may not be able to beat me even in your heyday, not to mention that you are seriously injured now. Passing over Whitebeard, then looking at Marco and the others who were sluggish, the corners of his mouth raised a fierce arc. Whitebeard, today is the burial place of you and your sons, but don't worry, I will come to worship you today next year. Gia Gia. Go to hell. Open black lens bracket thunder close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket shattered air shatter close black lens bracket. The face of Teach's super powerful attack, Whitebeard had to push hard in order to protect Marco and the others behind him, and his fists collided. But this time, although Teach was knocked back by more than 10 feet, Whitebeard was also injured, so it was very reluctant to launch this blow, suppressing the blood, and fought with Teach again. Damn, Teach bastard. Dad will be fine. Asshole, kill, avenge for Jozu, Blackman and them. A quarter of an hour. 2/4 of an hour. 3/4 of an hour. The battle became more and more intense, and the high-level officials of both sides also fell one after another. Whitebeard's face was cold, and Teach was full of excitement. Even more powerful, even today, if he can kill Whitebeard and get his shock fruit, the more he thinks about it, the more excited he becomes, and the attack in Teach's hand becomes more and more violent. He stepped back more than 100 feet, and the beard was a mouthful of blood. It spewed out uncontrollably. At this moment, Whitebeard's face was as pale as paper, and Marco and others around him were also full of scars. As for Teach, the loss was not small. After all, everyone at Whitebeard was not a vegetarian. Originally, there were more than 20,000 pirates on both sides, but here there are already less than 10,000. There are more than 10,000 pirates who have died. You must know that these pirates are different from other pirates in the New World. All of them are good players, and a large number of them will use two-color hockey. If such a loss spreads, Marine, who hates the pirates the most, would be the happiest. With their wishes, the 5 emperors would like to launch a fight, and they had better die together. Gia, Daddy, the strongest man in the world, let me, Blackbeard Teach, end your legend and ascend to the throne of One Piece, King of Pirates. Open black lens bracket. Fire in the sky. Close black lens bracket. Whitebeard, go to hell. Rumble. Teach threw a punch, the whole sea area changed color, the sea surface boiled, carrying the ultimate blow of the sun. Prometheus. No, Daddy. Who was injured one after another and being attacked by Teach again. If this continues, my father's condition will be extremely bad. Go, no matter what the cost, you must let Daddy go. If you drag it on, Dad will definitely have a life-threatening worry. Damn, can't hesitate, go. Shattered sword and jade. Whitebeard closed the knife in his hand and rushed towards Teach. At this point, he had no choice but to advance and not retreat. Otherwise, all his sons would definitely be slaughtered by Teach. Kill. Ha ha ha, okay, then let me see how you can pick me up. Looking at Whitebeard covered in scars, Teach felt a sense of joy and comfort that couldn't be described before. How many years I have waited, finally I have waited for this moment. Whitebeard's protection and the trust of his opponents are his strengths and also his most fatal weakness, which Teach deeply understands. Before, isn't that how he gained Whitebeard's trust, and then obtained the dark fruit? Die. Rumbling, the fire in the left hand, and the power of thunder in the right hand, both of them came together towards Whitebeard's cover, and the speed was so fast that it was blinking. Obviously, Teach wanted to make a quick decision, so as not to dream of long nights. What a big breath, today I want to see who dares to touch Daddy. Open black lens bracket. Rokushiki, 6 styles. Mirror fire. Close black lens bracket. Bang! Armament hockey poured all his right fists, and then turned into flames. At the same time, he played Rokushiki, 6 styles in Marine Rokushiki, which was combined with mirror flames. The sound of the explosion of tens of thousands of tons of gunpowder rang out, and the sea surface under the two of them was blown open by the force of the air, with dozens of meters of ditch marks, and the endless sea water turned into water vapor and rose above the sea.